Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now these are your full moon general readings for the sign that's in the title below. As ever, bulk introduction, timestamp below, but listen to it just once through. Because I would advise that you listen to three of these. Your sun, obviously, your moon sign, because hey, it's a full moon, and your rising sign, as that's the most important to your story. So watch all three if you've got the time. Now, this is full moon in Virgo, 8 degrees of Virgo. So I'm not going to talk long about the astrology of this full moon, because if you follow the link to the Facebook page to this channel that's in the description below, you'll notice that I've posted a lot of the astrologers' analysis and breakdown and weather forecast videos about this full moon, and they're going to do it better than I do. Also, there's an inbox on that page, so if you want to contact me directly for a personal reading, there's a good way to do it. But this full moon, 8 degrees Virgo, so this moon is ruled by Hariel, the angel Hariel, who represents in astrology long-range vision and purification, which is, I find, a very, very interesting symbol. Because obviously this is all on the backdrop of Saturn square Uranus, the force for tradition and rules and endings, but tradition and rules against the new, the innovative, the chaos elements that Uranus will bring through. So Saturn is ruling this chart like it did on the new moon chart, and I talked about that back in the new moon videos. Now Saturn at 8 degrees Aquarius is now being ruled by Nelchael, who, interestingly, is an angel about eradicating plague and an ardent desire to learn. So it's almost like the Saturn energy is like, yeah, this may be the way we've always done it, and we've got to stay in the way that we've always done it, but we've also got to learn to do it better in these limitations because it's not working. As simple as that. It's not working. Now, as I say, Nelchael or Saturn is ruling this chart, so we're looking at eradicating plague, which you can't deny the symbolism of that one at the moment. But what is interesting is, out of the chart itself, the most talkative angels are Sahalia and then Kahatel. Now, let me just check because I didn't write it down. Sahalia is ruling both Venus and Lilith, and Kahatel is, Kahetel, sorry, I should say, is ruling Pluto and Chiron, like I think Kahetel has been doing for a while. Now, the conversations that are going on here is Sahalia represents letting go and mental force. So it's eyes on the prize. That's where we're headed, and all this other stuff is not necessary. Whereas Cartel is all about diffusing negative energy. And as I say, those are the two most talkative angels in this chart, theoretically, all subservient to Nelchael in this chart. However, they are pretty much talking to all the planetary degrees, all the other angels at the moment. So it's almost like the king says one thing and the advisors are going, are you sure? Are you really, really sure? Do you not think there's a better way of doing it? What if you think about this way? What if you think about that way? But I think there's a better way of doing it. And they're going around the royal court and they are building up support, or they're acting like the chief whip of a political party, doing exactly the same, drumming up the support. Have I got your vote? So there's also this is directed, or the spotlight of this conversation is the moon, Hariel, long range vision and purification. That's the agenda that they are putting on the table in front of Nelchael or Saturn. And it's really interesting because the moon is quincunx, or I should say, as Rick Levine would say, quincunx Saturn. So Saturn doesn't really know what the moon's on about at all. You know, it's almost like, yeah, newfangled stuff, not my thing. Um, but it is necessary, and that's why we have the this influence of Sahalia with letting go, and then Kahatel just keeping everything calm, diffusing the negative energy. Yes, that's going to be awkward, but we can do it. And Sahalia, with their mental force, can go, hell yes, we can. Well, maybe not hell, they're an angel, but oh yes, we can do this. So there's, it's really highlighting an agenda shift. Now, the astrologers will also have mentioned it's good for relationships, this full moon. Again, go and watch all the astrology videos that I've posted. I'm seeing, looking at it from the degree angels level, this is, it's like that tagline, things will never be the same again. We are setting the agenda for the new world. We have a new world. I've not heard that phrase, the new normal, so much recently, but there's still a lot of political agenda to try and make the old normal return. But let's be honest, it's not going to happen. It is a new world. It's a new world every day. Oh, that, I'm sure that's a song. But it's a new world every day anyway, but it is very much a new world. And Saturn, in its square to Uranus, in its quincunx to the moon, is, I'm almost seeing, desperately trying to hold things together, which I think is quite, yeah, look at the news. Saturn is definitely trying to hold things together, and at some points it's succeeding, and at some points it's fading. But the counsel of the angels here is to try and just, let's make this process a bit easier. Now, what is interesting with Saturn as well is this, where have I written 8 degrees Aquarius? This is Spider-Man's Saturn. This is the Saturn on the first publication date when Spider-Man first hit the stands back in 1960 something, which I completely forget off the top of my head. But there is that message, with great power comes great responsibility. So Saturn is almost forced to accept that things have to change somewhere. And of course, Saturn is in Aquarius. It is looking more towards the future. It is looking to expand, to work with the community. Now, the symbols, after I'd figured all this out, I went and had a look at the various symbols for 8 degrees Virgo. And yeah, you'll have to forgive me. It's obvious I'm reading from the screen. So first we'll start with the inside degree, a man mixing cement. So we've got this image of, if you're mixing cement, you're building something, you're creating something. But the explanation of the image says jammed tight with concepts, thinking about what you are doing, interpretations, evaluations, opinions, and surmises, void of heart force, believing in progress, bent upon success. You strictly, rigidly carry out what the mind dictates. It goes a bit dark here. A form of ignorance that is very clever. Something missing in the soul. Compensations on top of compensations. Exceedingly busy, hyper with plans, projects, and enterprises. You're very good at achieving results. Riveted with to the phenomena, but prone to casting shadows that come back to haunt. So again, we see the reason for that influence of Cahatel, of the diffusing the negative energy, because everybody wants the world to return to normal really, really quickly. But that ain't going to happen, or at least the old normal ain't going to happen. But I love that, just that one image of the man mixing cement. This is the point where we start building. The new moon was, if I remember correctly, was all about finally integrating and starting to act on all the lessons that we've learned during the Capricorn cluster and 2020, which I think is very nearly ended. Well, or at least March 2020 has very nearly ended. Well, we may be in the 450th of March, but you know, we can see the turn of the page coming. Now, the Sabian symbol is equally as intriguing, and this one more encouraging. So the Sabian symbol is an expressionist painter at work. The interpretation saying about boldly breaking new ground. We must carve out our own path according to our own sense of who we are and what only we can do. Our right to be unique and our ability to express in this uniqueness creatively must be asserted. We must take it. It cannot be bestowed by a teacher. It is only the potential to be original that is a given in life. Originality itself must be assumed. Life is risky and we have to live with that. So again, there's that balance of, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and the fact that things need to change. Uranus is going, oh yeah, change, change, bring change. But again, Uranus, that's its natural spirit. In Taurus, that change is not really as fast. Some astrologers say that Uranus in Taurus, it's almost like it's, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's probably thinking about it wildly, but not going to do it. And then, bam, that's where the lightning strikes, because it just can't hold back anymore. Now, there is a thing called seed degrees and fulfillment degrees that I've learned from a blog, John Sandback, I think his name is. But for this full moon at 8 degrees Virgo, the where things come to a head for whatever is stated here or set into motion here. So stated as in a natal chart, or set into motion as in, you know, just the mundane transit chart. The fulfillment degree is 13 degrees Gemini. So I rather think that that is a point to be watching out for when other planets come to pass 13 degrees Gemini. The other interesting things that I noticed, Mercury, 13 degrees Aquarius. This is and of course I'm going to talk about comics and magic. This is the Mercury of Grant Morrison. Now, if you are familiar with Grant Morrison as a writer, superb writer, really likes to put layers upon layers upon layers of what it is that he's putting forward. You know, whether it's his signature series, The Invisibles, which went really deep into all sorts of woo-woo, or just his time on the Justice League of America, where it was like big concepts that would stick with you and you'd still be thinking about them several days later. Also, Israel Regadi of the Golden Dawn, this is his Chiron. So without diving into the details of Israel Regadi's life, there's that opening for disciplined magical healing is what I'm seeing from that, because that's how I'm assuming Chiron can be interpreted within Israel Regadi's chart, or at least taking it out of his chart and looking at it with the rest of the world. So these readings, they are same as ever, by sign. It's the gods that play reading. We look at the gods that are supporting you during this period, and we look at the more archontic forces, or the gods that aren't really gods. Their energies designed to suppress you and keep you away from your glorious destiny, soul function, soul purpose, yes, soul function, which will be on the top row of the reading. it is a look at the energies. You can ask a question like I'd normally ask you to within your monthlies, but I ain't going to guarantee that there will be an answer. And again, like any form of tarot scope, it's either it makes sense to you or it doesn't. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then it's probably not for you. This is a YouTube reading. I am not sat with you face to face. So it's either going to confirm what you already know, stroke success, suspect, give or take the influence of confirmation bias, or it's not. And if it's not, then you can probably ignore it. Or maybe just think about it and then forget about it unless something occurs that makes you go, oh, yes, we know a song about that. So obviously, like, share, subscribe, join the Facebook page, because that way it's a one-stop shop for all the astrology videos as well as my videos. And like I say, you can contact me there. Subscribing to the channel really does help the channel. Liking helps the algorithm boost the video. I'm sure you know the YouTube politics by now, so if you're so inclined, please do help my YouTube politics, or Google politics, as Chris Witecki calls it. That's everything. I've waffled long enough. Let's crack on with the reading. Cheers. Okay then, Aquarius, my apologies to start off with, because you're actually looking at a photo right now, because my mobile has stopped talking to my minicam on my laptop. I need to sort that out. However, as you can see, it's the same design as ever on these Gods at Play reading. The bottom row are the gods trying to lift you up and bring you in greater connection to your more divine self. And the top row are the archons pretending to be the gods, repressing you, keeping you down. So you can call them archontic masks. So on your side this month, we've got a good selection of gods. We have Apollo with clarity, Vishnu with balance, Zeus with supremacy, Hecate with illumination, and Ceridwen with inspiration. So immediately, there's a real positive vibe about taking charge and about understanding, especially if we look at Apollo, clarity, Hecate, illumination, and Ceridwen, inspiration. Understanding and problem solving, because you are understanding all the different aspects of whatever issue is going on in a balanced form where you are taking charge. But the efforts from the archons this time are almost like they are trying to lead you astray. We start off with Perseus with courage. Perseus, the hero who slew the Minotaur. The Medusa. Sorry, let me say that again. Slew Medusa. You can even see her right there on the card. Let me bring that, because yes, as you can tell, my mouth and my brain don't have a great connection today. So, if you look into the myth of Medusa, what happened to her was absolutely horrible. She was blamed for something that she was a victim of. And therefore, even though Perseus's mission was necessary, because Medusa was going around turning everybody into stone, and that's not a good thing, the fact that she was put into that situation was Athena's mistake. Athena assigning blame way too quickly. So Perseus was sent off on a course that was a course of action that is morally questionable, to say the least. And here we have the next Archon cards being Odin with guidance. Almost as if someone is saying, oh, go on, have this mission. This is the right thing to do. And you really look into it and it's like, no, it's not, because it is motivated by Set with chaos hidden behind this face of Odin. And it is certainly bringing, how can I put it? Bringing effects into the real world that do not need to be there. And it promises, taking up this cause, promises abundance, luck, prosperity. You know, it says Go and do this. It's the right thing to do, and you're going to profit by it. Now, you may well profit by it, money wise. It's not the right thing to do. But it's put in front of you. Well, don't you want to know? Don't you want to know what it would be like? Whereas, hopefully, when this offer comes up, this call to action from the archons comes up, you will be able to go, nah, hang on a minute. That doesn't smell right. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right, because the way that you, whoever the you is, the way that you are describing this situation is missing out some very salient points. It's missing some very important facts that give an added context. Now, the other reason I'm saying this, because from the Daemon Tarot, we have Yanganitan, which is a spirit of the night from Brittany, carries 5 candles on his 5 fingers, with which he can offer a traveller aid or lure them from the path. Now, that five candles giving a symbol of 5, number of magic, number of man, number of freedom, number of challenge, number of growth, therefore, as you've heard me say countless times before. And this could either work out tremendously well or tremendously well for somebody else where you do not benefit, or where you come off worse from it, considering that's the archon level, that if they come off better, it stands to reason that you come off worse. So I'm not saying about being greedy. I'm about saying, well, be greedy about doing the right thing is almost the way I want to put it, because there's this call to action for you, but you have the opportunity. It's 7 of Swords on the call for action. You know, there's, yeah, all right, strategic thinking, and it may well be strategic thinking on someone else's part, setting you on this course of action, but let's not forget the more popular meaning of the 7 of Swords, secrets and lies. And you are offered a chance for, like I say, for prosperity by going along this campaign, this mission that you are given. But any gains from it would be really, really slow. Whereas you go, hang on a minute, this doesn't feel right. You can transform the entire situation. You can transform your standing in this situation, where all of a sudden your voice is getting far more important, because you are creating a harvest of information, or creating a harvest of truth. See what Ceridwen's got for us. Page of Swords. Yeah, you're not only creating that harvest, you are transmitting that harvest. Page of Swords with Ceridwen. So Vishnu here with the balance. Well, that point where you're going, yeah, you're not telling me everything. This isn't, you're missing a few things out. That is not an appropriate move forward. It is not appropriate reasons to go on this campaign. So really, this lunar cycle is bringing a test for you, Aquarius. Have you got the discernment to notice when you're being fed a line, where you are being motivated into action when there doesn't need to be that action? There needs more to be some understanding. And I don't mean understanding in like the wishy-washy cardigan and sandal wearing emotional way. I mean understanding of cold hard facts, understanding the intricacies of a situation and of what have occurred and who's responsible for what, and how things work. And if you move that brick, then the Jenga tower will fall, and if you move that brick, the Jenga tower won't fall. And that's the level of understanding that is required from you. But if it feels like someone's trying to egg you on onto a campaign, look at it with doubt, because I also think this campaign will affect your friend, a friendship or friendships. Not because you don't go on it, but I think that if you do go on that campaign, it's obviously it's not in your interest to do so, but that's also going to affect some of the relationships that are around you in the long term. It may take a while for that to occur, but it may also be like a slow drip. The damage is irreparable. And then finally, the angel card over this entire reading, we have the guardian angel of service. I offer the best of my talents and goodwill, making my place in the universe a better one. So that's what to be focused on, not going to slay poor old Medusa. I mean, maybe limiting Medusa's effects on the world around her, fine. Slaying was a little bit harsh. Okay, so that's my opinion on a certain Greek myth. But yeah, it looks like there's quite a test coming up for you, Aquarius. Um, but with Apollo, Vishnu, Zeus, Hecate, Ceridwen, I have faith. I have faith in you. And to go, hang on a minute, no, no, because you're only giving me half a picture. In fact, that's what I might call the reading, half a picture. So if this means anything to you, Aquarius, comment down below. It will be good to hear from you. And obviously like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And I will see you in the monthlies, hopefully, once my mobile phone's working again. Cheers.